omnibus spending package they had that was called the border security bill, they would have seen right away that half of it was going to Ukraine, more than half of it funding foreign wars. And if you look at the details in the allotment for the monies in the mere $20 billion that they designated for the American border security, they'd have seen that it's not actually trying to stop people from coming in. They just needed more staff to process people that were coming in.
Yep. And God forbid something happen. God forbid something happen, man.
I want to get back to this speech here.
The spectacle of fearsome acts. Somebody steals from me, I cut off his hands. He offends me, I cut out his tongue. He rises against me, I cut off his head, stick it on a pike. Raise it high up so all on the streets can see. That's what preserves the order of things.
Bullying works.
Yes.
We bullied Lizzo back onto the treadmill, by the way. And I like that for her. I love that for her. I think she looks good on the treadmill. The bitch still fat, but she looks better on the treadmill, and I swear to God.
Hey, man, fat bitches running always look sexier than fat bitches eating.
I think South Park was a coup de grace for her, man.
Oh yeah, once Alex Stone and once Man and Alex gets you, yeah, you gonna have to change your life. No, I think Family Guy got her too. So you know what I'm saying? What's her name? Stephen McFarland too. Yup.
Yeah, but the same people that held Lizzo up as the new beauty standard are the same people in magazines telling me that eating healthy may not be the best thing. I'm like, they want you fat, they want you dumb, they want your kids to hate you, while they're changing their gender, and it's all demoralize you. All of it.
That's what's been happening we haven't even noticed it because it's been happening since the 80s or the 70s, but the demoralization has been, it's at peak levels now. So it's hard to not notice if you're sort of at a certain level, you can pay attention and pattern recognize and all that. But it's definitely a heavy amount of demoralization. I want to read this comment real quick. Dr. Fourth Wall, what's good? Dr. Fourth Wall in the chat says, yo, dude, I'm glad I found you. I'm a fan of Undead Chronic, and I've been a 20-year-old red pill male because of y'all. I was able to turn my life around for the better. And I would probably give more of that credit to Undead than myself, perhaps, because I'm not, quote, a red pill content creator in that sense, but I do swim in those waters, and I'm friendly with Undead. I've been over to the channel a couple times. Shout out to Undead Chronic, by the way. But I want to say this because that comment got me thinking about something. I was over on Izzy's today, right? Izzy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And listen, I wasn't going to bring this up, and I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. I think I got some time off now. But I was going to talk about this tomorrow.
No, you brought it up, so now you got to bring it to the table.
No, we're not going to go that far. But I just want to mention this because I think I was severely misunderstood because I tend to take a harder line, and I'll even troll on that hard line too, and then that'll get you misunderstood perhaps. But I tend to take a harder line than a lot of guys who would consider themselves even a little bit red pill or whatnot. And I pointed out something over there on that channel. And it was a funny moment. Yeah, niggas. Anyway, listen, I'm not a liar, and I feel like they call me a liar. And so tomorrow, if I get a chance, I'm going to review the show that happened today and my part on it. You can go back to Izzy's channel if it's still up and watch that shit yourselves. If it's still up, I'll review it.
You caused motherfuckers to glitch out and not even realize they glitched out, didn't you?
I did, because I'm listening to what's being said, and I'm like, man, y'all niggas just trying to help these bitches, and I don't know why you keep talking shit about niggas when all you want to do is help these bitches. That shit ain't right. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Bro, because that shit was weird.
Oh man!
But shout out to Dr. Fourth Wall, man, because listen, the red pill does get men's minds right. It's better than what the guys who are against the red pill would offer. Let's put it that way.
It,
It's more for the modern world.
you know what's interesting about that hood? Like to all the modern sensibilities, right? Not just the red pill stuff, but like they cannot point to an example that you should do. And if they do point to example, you know, of the quote unquote new thing that you should point to as the example that you should follow, they give you like a Tim Walls.
Bro, my nigga, listen. For 2 days now, I've been kind of having a little conversation with Izzy. Hey, listen, you guys know how I am. I don't be starting beefs and weird shit like that. But I've been having this conversation with Izzy for the last 2 days.
It's kind of hard not to start a beef with a retard, though.
Well, it takes skill and technique, and I've honed the skill over years, bro. I be in the gorilla pit, like what's up? But it's like this, bro. We're having this conversation from yesterday, and I realized like dudes are coming at things a certain kind of way, but being really vague about something. And so I'm calling out the vagary, and then when I point out that you're not really being specific, this shit like romanticism and poetry for real is not a real concrete thing you given. They get mad at me for pointing out that shit, and that's when we be having problems. But we're gonna talk about this shit tomorrow.
I mean, it's true though. You see it in all elements. Like look in the political realm, right? You have one candidate that's all smoke and mirrors, and you got the other one that's very direct. And this is not a time where we need leaders to be like all vague and vibes only. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just going to let Hood go ahead and be great tomorrow because it sounds like it's going to be fun.
Nah, because it was like I was listening to the shit, and then it got to a moment where, like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut the fuck up because I was working technically, and I wasn't trying to like focus on two different things. So I was like, "Fuck this pedal."
Well, what do you do?
I'm listening to these things.
What do you do when you're trying to make a point and motherfuckers are too stupid to realize that they are the point?
That right there, you have to find the comedic hook. Because I mean, listen, above all else, I do consider myself at least a little bit funny. And I try to make people laugh because I think I can do that to some degree without, making a buffoon of myself.
I agree.
And I try to find the joke in it all. Because there, like I said, I used to think life was a tragedy. And then I realized it was comedy. And so now I try to find the jokes that we can all laugh at.
Right. Hey, dude, you are actually funny. I think that's why you're the only person I know of that can get thrown off of as many panels as you've been thrown off of, and then be invited right back on the next day.
People don't even be realizing some shit. Then I point it out, and it just creates these awkward moments and shit.
Right. You bask in glory when you get that awkward silence where nobody knows what to say. You're back there muted, fucking laughing your ass off, aren't you?
you know what's interesting, man? Like you and SKC have like kind of similar like outcomes, like when it comes to like that kind of deal, because you're not like just so obnoxious, and you can be the protagonist and be the bad guy of that universe, but like when it's all said and done, they do want you back.
This is why I was giving SKC props the other day, because I listen and I do try to like study, and self-criticism is a rough thing perhaps, but I try to criticize myself, and I accept that I can't do certain things, that I'm good at certain things, and I can be better at certain things or whatever. And so I just apply things, and I listen to how SKC approaches shit, and I'm like, that's the way. And so I took pointers from how he approached it and added it to just how I naturally see things, and it's a fit, and it's worked in a lot of ways. I can create. And this is why I was saying in Freeman's Journal, like, I figured out a way to create content like this now, because talking to people is content. And it's the simplest content, because it's basically like traditional radio, right? Like what we're doing right now, minus the visuals, traditional radio, but we do get to play videos here and there. That's what makes it the modernity of it, and it's all cool in that we can have the interaction and everything. But it's a very old school format. If you can be interesting talking to people, it's valuable in and of itself from like a
Right.
production standpoint. And so I honed my skill a little bit further listening to how SKC was able to pull out moments from people by not going too far. And I think I did have a tendency to go too far before.
See, I'm trying to learn how to go just far enough. I haven't went too far
Yeah.
yet. I'm trying to go just far enough. You know what I'm saying? Without
Go too far and then pull yourself back in. That's what I did anyway. But I want to get back to the clip.
Fear. That one tonight. Who was he? Nobody. A coward.
What an ignominious end that would have been.
I killed the last honorable man 15 years ago. Since then, you seen his porch from downstairs?
think about that.
That is an interesting. Yeah, I'm listening. Hold on for a second, because I'm with you. I'm thinking about it, and we're going to talk about it. I killed the last honorable man 15 years ago. There's a duality that needs to be considered in that moment, because right now, on your sort of your vicious rise to power, right? You have to kill whatever man may be in your way. That's just the nature of the beast. However, this is why when it really comes down to it, is as much affinity as I may have for, like, hood nigga, pookie, whatever, street shit, all that shit, because I am who I am, and I can't undo anything. But if I had to really judge and place a bet and choose where I wanted to side, I side with law and order, right? Because I know what it's like to live in the world where the last honorable man died 15 years ago, right?
Damn.
And that's not a world you want to live in when you love your children.
No, it ain't. Then on the other side, look at it like this too. Look, from the way if you look at it from his standpoint, he sees it as he's the last of his kind. If the last honorable man he killed was 15 years ago, there's nobody like him left anymore. All of his kind are gone, and he's the last.
Well, he don't see himself as
Something
an
like that.
honorable man, though.
There you go. I don't think he sees that right.
Well, it depends.
No, finish. No, Hype. I cut you off. But I was agreeing with you, True Hype. I don't think he sees it that way. But finish your point.
Yeah, he don't see himself as an honorable man. Like old boy, he actually values that. I love the deal right here because it shows like the depth. And then Leonardo DiCaprio still wants revenge, but he's like, damn, he actually finds a respect for this guy that he's supposed to be getting revenge on.
Well, wouldn't you say that what you just stated about the guy, that in and of itself makes him an honorable man, that he stays?
No. He's just a man that understands, like, there's certain things that you have to abide by being a man in general. That's like, like the honor amongst thieves. You're still a thief.
Right.
You just don't snitch on the other.
If he saw himself as honorable in the way he said the honorable man was dead 15 years ago, he wouldn't have called him dead, right? I'm the last honorable man, right? It's a little bit egotistical, perhaps, but if he sees himself as honorable, then the last honorable man wouldn't be dead 15 years ago either way.
Or he would have said something to the tune of, like, there's only a few honorable men left, and, like, I killed one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
He's the Machiavellian man.
Mm-hmm. Is your mouth all glued up with coney juice? I asked you a question.
I said I seen it, sir.
Oh, you got a murderous reason. I like it. Oh, it's life boiling up inside of you is good.
One other thing about this whole movie, really, and I joke about this a lot, but it does kind of represent what I laugh at, those that white on white ethnic European racism. This is a little bit of that playing out here, right? Because you got this Irish guy who's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's an Irish immigrant, and him being Irish per se isn't necessarily the thing, but it's just the fact that you're not an American,
Correct.
and it's like, who the fuck are these guys coming over here? And it's a thing about white people that I don't think black people really appreciate, right? It kind of dispels the whole white unity idea. There was never white unity. There was always white drama. America exists because white people don't really like each other like that.
Yeah, man. Like if
White racism is the purest form of racism there is, dude.
hey, if
White
anything,
racism is the purest form of racism there is. Oh my god, phrases I can't put on a t-shirt.
that's crazy. But if you look at Hatfields and McCoys, man, that's the best way of describing or showing like the Americans. I mean, they were close enough to like the Europeans or whatever to still know their people and all that stuff. So they carry the same exact tribal kind of things.
Well, the Hatfields and the McCoys were Irish, I believe.
Yeah. But I mean, saying they had been over here for a minute, right?
Yeah, by the time that feud started, the feud was all over something stupid, a pig and a fucking girl.
Yeah, like and I think it started with like a low lying resentment because of the war, something that happened when they were at war together, like the two of the patriarchs of the family,
Yeah,
and then when it spilled over to
old man McCoy was like basically considered a deserter.
yeah, and when it spilled over with the other thing, it just made it worse, and then
Right.
they just kept on. They just went back and forth. That shit is
The
brilliant,
bloodshed,
though, man.
the bloodshed didn't happen until like the pig thing, and then the kids got married. They had like the little Romeo and Juliet. The Hatfield and McCoy story is actually like dope Americana, just in terms of stories or
Yeah,
whatever.
dude.
But it was wild.
Bro, the fucking stupid cunt I have my middle kids with, man, she's related to both the Hatfields and McCoys.
I can
I
see that,
remember you
man.
said something like that before. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
small
see that,
world.
man. Just like
Like
one
her
of
grandma used to tell them stories about shit down there because she was alive back when all that was going on.
like pent up resentment or whatever, and not letting nothing go. Yeah, I can see somebody
And
like that not being very pleasant.
the thing I'm thinking about right now, like, because we were looking at North Carolina earlier today, and Appalachia is where most of America's fighting men come from traditionally. Just look into it, right? Like, Appalachia produces all of our big square jawed white boy soldiers for all the wars and shit. And I don't think the Appalachians are happy right now. I think Appalachia is going to be pissed for a long
What?
time,
Well,
and who knows how to play out.
my bad. Like the whole state of Tennessee in World War II sent the most volunteers. Yeah, let me just point that out.
The volunteer state. I mean, it's in the title that they got rep for that shit. And all I'm thinking about is like in the long term, it seems like a big chunk of Tennessee, North Carolina rather, a big chunk of North Carolina got wiped away, and the resentment isn't going to go away. And not only is the resentment not going to go away, Democrats are ill-equipped to deal with things like resentment. They don't really understand why people are upset with them. The best they'll do is call them racist, which will only make it worse.
I don't think that it's that I honestly think it's they don't care, dude. It's not about understanding. It's they don't care.
Well, they think they don't care until something pop
Well,
off.
no. Because they don't care, they can't understand the people. I think the two things are connected in that exact way. So we're on the same page, though. Because they don't care, they can't think about it like the men's issues, right? Because Democrats don't truly care about men as like individuals, they don't really care about men's issues. And this is why it's almost impossible to have men's issues even spoken about properly on the Democrat side. But that same concept is now going to be applied to, like, North Carolina and generally the Appalachians, all the flood areas, because it's the same concept as with men, right?
We're the whites. Nobody ever cares if bad things happen to us anymore.
I mean, really though, isn't it the same criticism you could say for all of flyover country?
Yes, but more critical with this disaster.
Because sprinkled in there is some classism.
Yes.
Well, look, this is going to be worse than Katrina. All right, even with the response and shit, and now on top
it's like Mountain Katrina, Snowman. Think about that. Katrina up in the mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, once the
crazy
damage,
part is that-
devastation. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the crazy part is that this is going to be probably something for the future that they could just wipe you off the map or do all sorts of things to you, and they could hide it in the news or lightly report on it. And it's probably going to be something that's going to happen more frequently. I mean, when you think about it, like they're already telling them straight to their face that they don't have any money for them. Like they're denying some people to help. You know, it's just signs of the times, I guess.
I keep hearing stories about lithium deposits and all that. You know how valuable lithium is right now, and I'm like, see, is this shit starting to look like a giant scheme? Now it has people questioning the nature of hurricanes, bro. Like, was that a natural hurricane or was that a CIA hurricane?
Oh no! Like, was it last week? Or what was it? Like, I want to say like the day after, like maybe day 2 or day 3. George Bush weather machine was trending. I was like, oh my god, man!
I'm sure then Harp
That's
should
all I'm saying, bro. I don't know.
Wait, no, there was a NASA. There was a NASA experiment where they were making clouds and making it rain.
That's no longer experiment anymore. You remember Dubai or I think it was Dubai, where they did too much cloud seeding and they got all that rain earlier this year. It's actually like a way of doing things or whatever. The rocket engine ended up
bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Real quick, the existence of the phrase cloud seeding is in and of itself acknowledgement.
That's been around for a while.
Weather manipulation. And once you accept that we can and have been and will continue to manipulate the weather, you can only imagine, because we don't know for a fact. You know the thing about military tech, like every civilian tech is like 50 years behind military tech is what they say. But if they can manipulate the weather, we understand that on a civilian level, cloud seeding is there, right? So what can they do on a secret intelligence level? Like, what's the black ops capabilities when it comes to something like this? Like, who really knows, right? Are we causing earthquakes in the mountains of faraway countries? Did we just direct a hurricane into the country, into a part of the country that never
Saudi
gets
Arabia? Remember Saudi Arabia had like record floods and they were saying that they were going to make it rain and they fucked it up. They had flooding and crickets everywhere. They had flowers blooming.
It's wild, bro. Like, who knows what is actually true anymore? And that in and of itself is also a part of the plan. Like, we make everything so confusing, nobody knows what's real, right? But it does seem like a lot
order out of chaos.
Right. That's what eventually would come, right? But it does seem like a lot of things are just happening in weird ways, right? Like, why are we so slow in this hurricane response, right? It just seems like is it maliciousness or is it incompetence, right?
It's a combination of the two, but I think it's enough maliciousness to where it's a little nasty.
What if the people are incompetent and malicious? I'm sorry, you got it. Go ahead.
It's not.
Hi, I'm Sasquatch.
Yeah, I hear you, Sasquatch. You got it, bro.
Were any of y'all in the path of that hurricane? Did y'all experience it?
I did not. I'm up in the Northeast. I'm actually in Jersey right now, and so
Good
it
deal.
was popular for me.
The last hurricane we had come through here that was anything like that was Ivan, but it came from a different direction. And so the path wasn't nearly as destructive because most of the areas that it came over were farm areas. In this case, the way it come up through the panhandle like that impacted what, 5 major interstates. It flooded North Georgia out like has never been seen before. They say in over a century, but that's not true. It's never actually been witnessed. Nothing like this. Not there.
Yeah,
Same
that's
thing
why they're
North
saying
Carolina.
biblical, right? That's why they're
Right.
saying biblical.
Dude, I was here when the eye wall went right over my town, and I was talking to my wife. I was like, we were sitting there in the dark because power had done gone out. I looked over at my wife. I said, you know what's amazing about these things? Because we're so close to the eye wall, in a few minutes, maybe an hour, it's going to be like somebody turned off a light, and we're going to have about an hour of peace, and then we're going to have to do it all over again. And I didn't even get it out of my mouth when suddenly the wind stopped, the rain stopped, and you could see stars outside. 45 minutes later, the wind picked back up. It started tearing all kinds of crap up again. I was trapped on my block for 2 days.
Damn.
What part of I don't want you to dock yourself, but what part of North Carolina are you from? If you want,
I'm not in North Carolina. I'm in Georgia. It came right across the top of it before it got up there. Yeah, I'm in what's called the Piedmont region, or possibly Fall Line.
Wow.
Right. So I'm the foothills between the mountains and the plains out in the coast.
Let me ask you about something real quick, because and this is just a general question, but I saw in North Carolina somewhere a dam has burst, and now when a dam bursts, it seems like that's a regional geographic change, right? And so I want to ask you, as somebody who's kind of on the ground, what do you see as far as things that can't really be recovered from? Because it seems like things are never going to go back to the way they were.
Well, this is a really weird experience here. For one thing, where I live, I was exceptionally lucky. In my small town, I lived between the police department, the banks, and the hospital. And so they got my lights on within, 3 days. I know people in my county here that have not had power since the night of the storm and do not look to be having power in the next week or so. We've got line crews here from Rhode Island. We've got crews here from Indiana, Kansas. We've got crews from all over the Southeast for sure, and farther out. And they're making progress. They're doing the work. But the thing is, millions and millions of trees are down.
Oh man.
Because of there was a weird thing about this storm that I've never seen before. You could have a line of trees, multiple millions. I decided to go out to my pops yesterday, and I had to take 2 or 3 different tries to get out there. We're what, a week and a half past the storm? Major highways still blocked.
That's crazy.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah, one thing I did hear also
right, because
is that
I asked like what kind of like permanent damage kind of things are happening, and I can't really. Millions of trees. I didn't think that would be the answer, but that's a hell of a thing to think about. Like that's a whole region that's like a different type of region now.
Well, there's
from an ecological standpoint, it's a different type of region now.
Yeah, think about what it's like to go down a road with one down tree. Now multiply that by millions.
Well, let me tell you, bro. I had a friend of mine call me from Thompson, and she got phone, so she walked like 2.5 miles and managed to get phone service. And she texted everybody she knew that might be able to help her because she was trapped in Thompson in the middle of town with no power, and they turned off the water, and they started giving water out at the school and at the courthouse, and they were doing like barbecues out at the square. She just moved there like a couple of months ago. She doesn't know anyone there, right? So she managed to send out a handful of texts, and that was it. It was just like, I'm stuck with no lights, no power. Well, no power, no internet, and no water. and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I got in my 4-wheel drive. It's a 50-minute drive according to Google Maps. It took me an hour and a half to get there, and I know these roads. So when I hit something,
is it true that a lot of the houses that were damaged, they weren't insured?
Probably.
That a lot of people's houses that got destroyed weren't insured.
Who needs flood insurance in the mountains, bro?
Yeah, because it kind of reminds me of like what happened in Hawaii.
Well,
I know. It kind of reminds me of Hawaii. They wanted to buy their land, I guess, and they weren't selling. No, I know, but in Hawaii, they were trying to buy their land, but they couldn't. And then the fires happened, and out of nowhere, they started ravaging all those places, started getting vultures in there. So I'm wondering if the same thing. Hood was saying something about mineral deposits there, mines, I guess, and such. Now,
well, that's why the Wabbit is here.
Well, they've been having like I have no
idea.
They've been having some legal court battles about the mineral, like rare earth mineral rights. Lithium, I heard, is one of them.
Yeah, outside of Asheville on one side is lithium, and like up in, I guess it's like Spruce Grove, one of that little town. There's a huge quartz deposit, and it's been a legal battle going back and forth. But we all know that anytime something like this goes on, they spin up the good old heart machine, and these freak storms come out of nowhere. Man playing God and all that.
Yeah, I've heard that they could. I don't know if they could create them out of thin air, but I know they could probably direct them or exacerbate them by heating up the air. If there's a cold front coming in and it's already forming, they could probably make it bigger and bigger. I don't know if that was the case or not, but
well, back in, I don't know when, it was like the 30s or 40s, and this is like you can Google it, but you got to go down like to the 15th page of Google to find it. The first time they were able to successfully seed a hurricane, it was off the coast of like the Bahamas or something like that. And they seeded it, and the hurricane made a beeline for this like South Carolina coast.
Yeah,
as soon as they did it, and they like killed like thousands of people, and the government was sued.
Trey, they put dry ice in it, trying to do something with the moisture or whatever, like basically experiment, and it hooked like rapidly.
But now they've perfected it to where they can control them and all that. But that's just me. I don't want to get you scream, yank for. Can we talk about weather modification?
The weather is really racist.
Well, hey, when I
didn't ask you to do any of that. Let's not.
When I saw Evil Wabbit come up, I knew we were going to hear about HARP. I knew we were going to hear about HARP.
Let's not reveal too many government secrets, y'all.
I had
I don't want to get
bougiest hurricane survival story in history. It is so bougie, it's so silly. I was gearing up to go camping before. I was gearing up to go camping before all of this, and so I had a little bit of stuff put up in my oh shit closet in there, and I let it go for 24 hours to kind of get a feel of exactly how long we were going to be under the gun, so to speak. And my wife's over here having a bit of a freak out. I gathered up all my kids, brought them here because I'm in a brick house and all that. And I'm on top of the hill. There's no flooding going to happen here. The worst we got to worry about is a tree falling on us, and that's totally possible. But after everything had settled down, I looked at my wife and I was like, it'd make all this better. Hot chocolate. Let's make some hot chocolate. She's like, how are you going to make hot chocolate? We don't have any power. I said, no, but we got about 18,000 tons of wood in the yard.
But I'll tell you this crazy, man, and like my company is a huge one of the biggest like freight truck movers in the U.S. and like all of North America. And for some reason, about a week before the hurricane, they were sending all the drivers out to like our Charlotte terminals. We got one down near Charlotte and one up in Statesville, right near Statesville, right off of 40. And they were trying to send everybody there. But I went up to Montreal and I took a load out of Montreal heading back to Kansas City, and they were trying to send me there in the middle of it. And I called them. I'm like, what are y'all doing? And they're like, oops, our bad. Yeah, we'll bring you back to San Antonio. But
Trey, it was crazy. It's crazy because at the same time, this trucker strike, I mean, not trucker, the port strike was coming, right? And so at the same time, you had people trying to do last minute moves and get stuff secured before the strike really went in. And so I kind of understand why that would have been a thing. Like, all right, they want to get their last minute shit done before they actually had the strike, because we got a world class, like a world history level storm. And now the ports want to close at the same time, like all the East Coast ports. It's not like one or two little things.
But here's the crazy part, bro. When My unit knew this. I was in Plattsburgh, New York, and the storm was just making landfall in Tampa. How did my company know where it was going to move all those trucks?
I got another question.
Somebody got a tap on the shoulder.
We got a line of stores around here called Jets, and most Jets are open 24/7. Not all of them. There's a bunch in like little towns and stuff that aren't open 24 hours, but most of them are. Our local Jet, all of them shut down 12 hours before the storm. And I mean, that's before it made landfall. So they were closed almost 24 hours before it actually got here. But that's not all. Almost every single business that is a corporation attached shut down. And they didn't just shut down. Some of them removed products from the shelves. And I don't know what they did with them, but they just took stuff down. There was a point here right after all of that blew through, and I finally got, it was a couple of days after the storm, I guess. I'd managed to get off the blocks. So it's a minute. They had a generator and they were accepting cash only trade, right? When I get there a couple hours after opening, the place isn't open. It is being mobbed by people who are losing their minds. And I went to school. I live here. It's a small town. I live here. I know these people outside. I know the people that work inside. I walked up, looked at the folks inside, thought about it for a second, and went around behind the store and found a guy standing at the back door with the back door open, unloading stuff off a truck. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Apparently a truck came through, and he's like, no, the truck didn't make it in. This truck's been here. We just haven't unloaded it yet. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, what's the problem? They're like, we're trying to stock the shelves, but we only have 3 people who could come in. I was like, so what do you need? He's like, it would really help if I had about 10 trustworthy people that I could get to unload the truck and unload the back end of the store and put things on the shelves. It doesn't matter how neat it is. It just needs to get out, and I'll open. I said, okay. And I went back around front, grabbed a couple of guys that I knew. We went back around back, and there's a whole crowd of cops there. Like that, like poof. And we talked about it for a second. He took everybody's name off their IDs and stuff, and they all went in and stocked the store and then came back out back door, and they locked it up, went back around and unlocked the doors and started letting people in groups of 10. But it wasn't that they only let 10 in. They let 10 in and then another 10, kind of keeping them spread out enough that it didn't cause a mob, right? It's wild, man. It is wild. It's like it's like Fallout with gas stations.
Freeman's Journal, thank you. Look, speaking of post-apocalyptic, I mean, this is actually apocalyptic right here. North Carolina actually has post-apocalyptic conditions right now. I want you to look at something. Freeman's Journal, thank you for giving us this link. You just shared a video with us that shows some before and after images, right? I think this is there's like a really popular lake somewhere in North Carolina that a lot of people love to go to, and this, I think, is that lake. It's some L name. I don't know the name of it. I'm not from there, but this is just look at this. Just look at this. So before, after. I want to just take a look at this really quickly.
So there's a layer here most people don't consider. All the fish in that lake are dead now.
Definitely. All the wildlife are dead. They've all been displaced, because if any wildlife that lived in this lake, whatever fish lived in there, whatever other wildlife besides fish, salamanders, anything that lived there, literally got pushed away by the water, right? It just got
either that or the mud suffocated them. The diesel fuel that was in all the boats up and down the river, probably all of that stuff in there. It's all in there now. There's houseboats. There's bodies,
bro. I didn't even think about
not only that, but the majority,
right? the boats and the houseboats and such, right?
Look, the majority of our logistics in the side of the United States deals with the water system through barges. So we got to clear out all that stuff before we're able to move stuff back. I don't think people really understand how bad it is. You know, you can't really be messing with water systems. That's how we get fertilizer. No,
Hold on.
I
Look,
know,
that's
but
a
all the
lake.
water,
That's
the
not even.
rivers
No,
and bridges.
think about the difficulty beyond. If it's a river on a major waterway, most rivers are connected to other bodies, bigger bodies of water, so you can travel to them on the water technically. But this is a lake in the mountains. How do you get to that? It makes it even that more difficult. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I sort of
What
separated the idea.
you don't
It's not just
hood.
the water system.
You seen that major
You
bridge
don't.
on I-40? You see that major bridge on I-40 basically washed away?
Yeah, man. I tell you, even going through there, and the crazy part is, I just went through there like 2 weeks before this happened, and they were doing construction on all the bridges up near Black Mountain and all through like between Asheville and like the Tennessee border. They were working on all of them. Were they working on them? Kind of like the Trade Center before 9/11. You know what I'm saying?
I got something
Both,
for that.
bro. Because as I understand, like there are rumors that there are plans to not even do a complete like demolition and cleanup because they just want to condemn certain towns because like it's just too much.
I think they said something about rezoning after a natural disaster. Like if you can't rebuild it because it's not worth it because it's going to keep happening. So it might just be a land grab too. That's one aspect of it.
Yeah, but
I
I'm like,
Hey,
this hadn't happened. This hadn't happened ever. And unless
one
you can
thing,
say, okay, this is going to happen every so often, that makes no sense. Like as far as like like saying, oh, it's going to happen again. It could happen
Look at this
again.
area really quickly. This is some kind of fairgrounds, like obviously like little what do you call it, carnival rides and whatnot right here. Just look at this one area. Boom.
Yep.
Carnival dead. Carnival gone, bro.
Yeah, it's the thing is, it's the Rock, right? They're gonna have to remake the entire area because I saw another video. This guy, it was a flat area in between the mountains where you have homes and everything, but it was just a field. It was just a field of rock. And these guys like, yeah, this is like 5 or 6 feet deep, right? And he's like, yeah, their houses used to be here and everything, and now it's just a rock bed. So it's like it is major excavation after major excavation. Like you can't, because they can't even get to this. Like what you're seeing, they can't get any heavy equipment here. You know what I mean? It's going to be a piece by piece project. I mean,
we had a guy up here. He happened to be working on a place out of town with some of his heavy equipment. He had 3 or 4 different things out there. And so he had put everything up on top of hills and ducked it all down to trailers before the storm. He took his truck to the end of the nearest road he could get to and walked several miles to get into his heavy equipment. He used it to clear the road to get out, and then got some people to go drive the other equipment so that they could clear the rest of the roads in that area. That was not government. That was not any industry. That was some random dude with a chainsaw and a plan.
We got a government, but hey, Hood, man, check your email, man. I sent you some rabbit hole fun about what happened on September 26, 1958, 66 years ago, in 6 months or 6 days or something.
Allegedly, they had like a group of people with like 100 chainsaws that they had donated that they wanted to give to the people in these areas or whatever, so they could start working on their own. And allegedly, FEMA tried to take the stuff, tried to seize it.
$750.
That's a whole. That's a whole nother drama. Hold on, give me 1 second, Squatch. That's a whole nother drama I haven't really talked about it so far, so let's talk about this right now. It seems like FEMA is doing more to actually stop rescues than they are to actually help. Because FEMA can do FEMA's operations and whatever, but it seems like they're actually impeding regular citizens from just going in and helping people. And not only does that seem counterproductive, generally speaking, it seems like it's offensive and malicious, and it almost seems like hateful even. Like, how do you stop regular people? Why are you making it harder for regular people to help everybody?
But the crazy thing is that this is big government.
It's simple. It's simple though. Like, look, if they let citizens, do what they're doing effectively, right, and undermine their attempts. You already heard Mallorca's, right? That fake Mexican. They want more money. They're gonna be like, look at all this damage. We need more money, more funding. It's another money grab. So they want more debts,
They
more
already
damage to prolong the
where's
situation.
my money, Brian? They lost our money already, bro.
No,
Yeah,
Haitians
They're
got
gonna
that.
ask for more
but
though.
hey, but that's how the
The
government
problem is not
is.
enough money.
What they have to do,
Yeah,
right? They have to spend the amount of money that they have every year. So toward the end of the year, they just blow
they're
it all.
rewarding competence with more money.
Yeah, and they said, well, okay,
It,
because if you could like hold that money over to the next time, it's like they'll decrease it
it
every
gets
single
deleted.
time.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
and I'm
trying
like,
to.
man, that's trash. That's a
They're
really bad
Yeah,
way.
you get an annually. You get an annual budget, right? It's not like they're gonna give you whatever's left over as a bonus, like you're in a construction company. They're just gonna give you less and less. Oh, you're solving the problem. You're making it more efficient, so we're gonna reduce the funding because you don't need that much. But these
they're
rich
Well,
supposed.
ones, they
here's
just
a
want to ask for more
yeah.
money.
Here's my question though, and this goes to like I know y'all got plenty like liberal friends or whatever in your family, niggas and stuff to vote for liberals. After seeing this, I don't understand how they can still support the current regime. I don't get it.
They're
I think I
brainwashed.
think I think more people are like kind of coming around to it because like okay, Appalachia is devastated, right? But it's not the only area in the country that's affected. It's the worst, possibly. From everything I've seen, it looks like the worst. But
Well,
I'm
the
just
current
saying, like
regime.
it's like what 5 different states they got like tore up parts.
The current regime runs their entire platform off of false promises, of hopes, and
Look, if you look at
of,
LA
of
and the
and
homeless industrial complex that they
running
got
the
there, it's
mommy
the same
state.
thing.
They run their
Hey,
whole
shout out to
platform off of.
Caucasian Scat. Shout out to Caucasian Sasquatch. Thanks for coming on, bro. You're always welcome back, man. And I appreciate having somebody with some kind of firsthand experience of it. Just adds to the show. So thank you so much for being here, bro.
They run their whole platform off of false promises and operate in this mommy state of affairs the way they do. And there is something else that they really want that hasn't been mentioned yet. And I'll put it like this: in Greek mythology, the name of the bitch that set things off between the Achaeans and the Trojans was Helen. They want war.
Oh wow, wow.
Poetic, isn't
Wait a
it?
minute. Wait a minute.
No,
What?
no,
Run that back.
because seriously, man, like they always have to like name the thing before it happens.
Well, that's right there. The reason the lizards do that is because they understand how all this really works, and they're trying to prevent karmic justice. So they have to telegraph their move as to why they put all these things in movies. They'll put it in like old time magazines about 30 years before they do it. And it's one of the things. It's like, and I sent you the email, but on September 26th, 1958, like 66 years and like 6 months to the day, Hurricane Helene almost struck North Carolina.
Hey
What
guys,
you're
what's going
talking
on?
about is called lesser magic.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Hey,
Bandit, what's going on, bro?
I want you to add a little more crinkle. I also want you to realize that half these states that got hit were swing states, and all of their ballots are now destroyed during the storm. So let the buffoonery begin.
Well,
It's a swing state. They had
look.
all of them.
North Carolina was going to probably be a red state, and now they probably can't vote for the most part.
Yep, and if North Carolina and South Carolina and other states don't go Trump, there it goes. And they already said the one town, all the votes in the whole county were at this one post office, and the post office was flattened. So all those votes are gone. It's gonna be chaos.
But
Hey, kind of.
here's, you know what?
If,
Hold on, real
if
quick. And this is
Kamala,
where,
hold on, if Kamala wins because most a huge chunk of southern states couldn't vote, it's over, bro. It's going up, bro. We all going up. And
I
I'm
know.
here
Yo,
for it. I'm here for it because I don't think
but
I don't
here,
want America to
They
exist if Kamala's the president. Fuck that, America.
here's the thing, though. If we can bring 700,000 votes in Pennsylvania at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're just another thing they're lying about. Some votes in like what super leftyville, Asheville, North Carolina. Like Asheville is the reparations capital of the U.S. Like
Well,
it's just more lies they put out there, more propaganda, to get the right like riled
look,
up.
I also want you guys to realize something
look.
that's
Not only
interesting.
that, but they already warned us.
Like,
They already
real
warned
quick,
us that they weren't going to have the election results right away. That not for the
I
Well,
know.
month,
that
at
well,
least a
that's
month.
Pennsylvania. That's Pennsylvania.
I know. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I can give you a little more insight on this. The reason why they had to cheat so bad last time is because all the Amish people in Lancaster County got all their husbands drove their wives to the polling booth and said, "You're voting for Trump." That's why the cheating was so bad in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia to counteract the 50,000 Amish that voted that never voted before. That's gonna happen again.
Yeah,
And
Scott Presler's on the ground there, actually registering
But
Amish.
but see, it's the doom and gloom, man. It doesn't really matter who wins. Like at the end of the day, like they're gonna try the buffoonery. I tell y'all this: Trump's actual win was probably more like Reagan's win against Mondale.
Yeah, but I think what has to happen though, Trey, is that they have to at least have an idea because it can't be too wide a swing because this is in essence this is a 3% candidate. This is the
Yeah,
most like unpopular candidate in like recent election history in the last like 30 years.
but the
The
reason why Hood, yeah, I get what Hood is saying because this is a powder keg. Nobody likes Kamala. If Kamala wins, man, yeah, I'm telling y'all what, being a red state, if you a nigga, put a MAGA hat on and get the hell out the hood. Just hey, start with your twang, start listening to country music. Just get the hell away from the powder kegs. If Kamala wins, just my warning.
well,
here's a
the other thing
here's
is
a
Kamala Harris is going to be just Biden all over again. You really think Kamala Harris is going to take ownership and get shit done? No, she's going to be another Biden. She's just going to be another puppet that whatever the deep state wants to get done, they'll get done. She'll just
no, it's
sign
gonna
off
be
on it.
it's gonna be worse though because you're gonna have war on three fronts. The Ukraine stuff is probably going to escalate even more than it is because they're trying to use U.S. weapons to like they try to strike a civilian nuclear deal in Kharkiv.
Well, did you guys
Uh,
hear the news today? We just launched an attack against Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
like
already
yeah.
escalating to a world war. I mean, think about it. You got two proxies, and to make a world war, you need two proxies. You have Russia and China, and then you have NATO. So we are already in a world war. We have Ukraine at war. We have the Middle East up in arms. We have, South America doing its thing. Like we're already in a world war. It hasn't been declared
Hey,
yet.
But y'all are
what,
lucky. Y'all got
hey,
the wabbit up here, man. Don't fall for the doom and gloom.
no,
Remember,
think about it like this though, Trey. Like one thing that could also be happening, they're setting the table because they know they can't win and they're trying to cripple the incoming president so that he can do nothing right.
Well,
You know
well,
what I'm saying?
check it. Well, here's the thing, guys. If I know Bandit was talking about world wars, remember World War II was all about three cities. Well, really two cities: Dresden and Nagasaki. They had to complete the reset, and to complete the reset, they all those people died basically to flatten two cities: Nagasaki and Dresden. That's all that war was about, guys. Everything else was just smoke and mirrors.
Berlin.
No, Berlin wasn't important. Dresden was.
Berlin got ran through.
I mean, technically, World War II. The only country that made it out of World War II is America. Everybody else, Middle East got destroyed through with the oil rigs and everything, and then the Far East got messed up. The only winner of World War II is America, hands down.
Were we
It was a
really?
reset. It was a world reset.
We just imported a whole bunch of people with tiny little hats, kind of like my man Werner von Braun. You know what I'm saying? We just
Oh,
invited
I know,
those
I know,
guys
I know
over.
exactly what you're saying.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
we didn't win. We just We
Hey,
just, like Patton said, we fought the wrong enemy, and now, we're dealing with it. What, 80 years later, we're dealing with it.
hey, shout out to Operation Paperclip.
The sad thing is, anybody that want if you
Hey,
haven't
Hood,
noticed at
look
this
up
point,
Denver Airport from an aerial view.
if anybody wants to make change, they're going to be a target. So if you're going to go against the system, you're going to be targeted like Trump is, and that's the sad part. Like, this is our last hurrah. Really, I mean, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here, but it's on. If the if we don't change course here, it's over, because there's going to be no
Man,
one. You see anybody in the wings right now that's taken over Trump's mantle? You think JD Vance is going to be like Trump in 4 years? No, he's just going
hey,
to do
hey,
what the
Bandit.
deep state tells him to do.
Hey, Bandit, get you a hot Filipina, bro, and enjoy the decline, bro. Get you some guns, you know what I'm saying? Get you some claymores, and just, set up your final protective fires, bro, and enjoy the decline, bro.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yep.
In this times, I'm telling you, man, you got to be a warlord, man. We're approaching Mad Max times.
Well, I'll see
Yeah,
you
you gotta
in the
delete
Thunderdome.
your motion out of this,
Yeah, I'll
or
see you
you'll
guys
get
in the
crazy.
Thunderdome.
Hey, get your food stores up, gentlemen.
Yep.
Yeah, we're on our own pretty much.
It's sad,
Uh,
but you guys are not wrong.
buy more ammo.
The
But hey, one thing that you
Hey,
do
look,
have to realize.
when it comes to the presidents,
Hey, one thing you do
when it
have to
comes to the
realize that.
presidential elections, when they were saying, go ahead,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say, like, one thing you do have to realize though, they're only thrashing this much. Like a person that's in the water and starting to like drown. They thrash the most violently, like, the less control they have. You know what I'm saying? So that is some solace right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but we haven't hit peak thrashing yet. This is the beginning of the thrash. I mean, you could already see everybody switching parties, because, like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg is going to the right. A lot of the banned right wing YouTube channels, or I just found out as of last week, are all getting remonetized. And it's kind of weird though, because there's I don't know if you guys been
They're
following the
hedging their
news.
bets.
No, they're not heading to bets. They're all
Nah,
screwed, because
yeah.
there's a massive court case coming up right now with the what is it, um, publisher, non-publisher right now.
Oh,
And,
Section 203.
yeah, Section 203. There's
Oh
Tim
no,
Pool had a
230, 230, 230. My bad.
yeah. If you guys watch it, there was a couple weeks ago. There was a massive update on this on the Tim Pool cast on his Friday stream. They did he had a guy on that's going against the government on 230, and if he wins, literally it can go two ways. You can either go dictatorship, where it's just going to be the major news networks and that's it, or it's complete freedom. But I'm just saying 230 is going down, and that's why they're bringing back all these banned channels, because they're trying to save face. But I mean, I don't know if you guys know right wing stuff, but like channels like
No, there's a bunch of them, like Stefan
like
Molyneux.
Revenge of the
Like
Sith. They're all
Yep.
back now on YouTube, which is kind of weird. I'll be honest with you, kind of weird.
there was a bunch of channels that like had
Yep.
like the early kind of band stuff, and then
Yep.
they kind of went the way of the dinosaur or whatever, and they were the precursors before they went after Alex Jones and got him off the YouTube platform, and then like they went after all these smaller creators too, and anybody that was like had thousands of like subscribers, they were like loyal and actually had like a monetary base. They got them out of the paint too. It was
But
a lot of people, man.
I'm just saying they're bringing all these people back because they know that the tides are shifting to the right now, and I,
Hey,
I'm just saying my whole point to bring this back full circle is the left hasn't been cornered yet. They feel threatened now, but they haven't been cornered. Like, the thrashing and the kicking and screaming has yet to begin. It's going to get a lot uglier before it gets better.
hey, look, another cultural marker is SNL making fun of the current presidency.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but we we
Hey,
all know
real
SNL is
quick.
a joke, anyways. At this point, like it's not the '90s crew anymore.
Yeah,
Like
but
back when
it's still a cultural marker though, because
yeah, you're fair. That's fair. That is fair.
Real quick though, when it comes to the elections, I know you guys. Somebody was saying that they're not really they're going to be hampered or they're going to be hung up and they're not really going to do anything. That's not really why they want to get Trump out of there so badly. Because if that was the case, then they would just hang strung him right there. But what it is that he's pretty much the avatar of America, right? And when you look at
Yeah.
Kamala, there was a meme that I saw where it was Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me." So there's Biden underneath him, and there was like, "Well, I need a vice president dumber than me." Then it was Kamala right there. I need a vice president dumber than me. Then it was Tim Walz looking crazy in the debate.
Well, Tim
So
Walz
it's
is an
just
idiot.
if we get Trump, I know if we get Trump, that avatar is all we need. You ever seen with the FEMA action and everything else? We will make it happen. He's just going to motivate us, right? He's going to give us that
well
little oomph. If we get
he
Kamala in there, it's just going to be a further, I guess, like, what do you call that? A demoralization, pretty much attempt. And it's just everybody's going to mock us. We're going to feel it in our soul. You know what I mean? When we see Trump out there, being a badass and doing all this other shit, it kind of gives us a little bit more of a, yeah, we them people. When we see him clowning all these other leaders, we're just like, yeah, we them people. You
yeah,
see
but
what I'm saying?
he also threw a monkey wrench in the works as well with the Great Reset people. So he made them have to like sprint to
Yeah.
the finish. He
Yeah, he's
made them have
messing.
to sprint to the
Yeah,
finish.
and it's fucking
Well,
them. It's fucking them up because they have the more sophisticated and complicated your plan is, the more avenues you have to fuck it up. That's
well,
already known.
Red Illusion brought it up in the chat where he's like, this is a remoralization, kind of like 9/11 to get everybody patriotic again. So we'll go send our sons and daughters off to die in the Middle East, whichever war they want. That's
Yeah, but
somebody.
nationalism is, I hate to say, dead. Like, do you really think the millennials are gonna like take charge and have nationalism back in their spirits again? Hell no. They're most of them are
It's gonna.
black
It
pilled.
has to take an event. They need that event, Bandit, and that's what they're trying to find, that one event that will strike the chord.
They
And
can't
you
though
see all
because
this
they've
pushing.
been
That
burned
event
so many
was
times. I mean, think about it. We got
that
9/11,
event
we got
was
2008, we all these lies, and millennials are done. And if you think the millennials are black pilled, Gen Z, holy shit! Like that generation's even more black pilled than the millennials are.
Man, I hate to say it, bro.
look if they would have
Like, listen around
if they would have clapped Trump if they would have clapped Trump and had
They are.
CNN that sneaked in there and videotaped the whole thing, no, they would have actually done it in Pennsylvania, right? They would have switched their whole tone and be like, we need to come together.
Well,
Iran did it. That's what
there,
it would have been.
Yep.
It just
there was
didn't work
but the
out.
whole
cheating in
but
Pennsylvania. It's not even funny. Like,
yeah, the left right now is so anti-Israel that it's a problem for them. So everybody's kind of like anti-everybody. I'm telling y'all, in the younger military circles, they're sheep. They're sheep. They all took the jab. Oh, just line up. It's just another shot we
Yeah,
take.
yeah, and
Yeah,
if you didn't take it, then guess what? They booted you out.
yeah. They're
well, now they're trying to get those people to come back in because the recruitment's so
Hey,
low.
hey,
Like so little to none.
good luck with that.
yeah. I just it doesn't even worry me anymore because of being over there firsthand and seeing it with my own two eyes and realizing, now that I'm in the rabbit hole, how much bullshit, how fake it all is. Looking back at the missions we did in Afghanistan, scratching my head like that shit made no fucking sense. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Garden
it's just
poppy fields.
I mean, it's sad that we're losing so many lives and treasure over lands that most Americans can't even point out on a map. And then on the second part is like we honestly don't give a shit about. Like it's not like we were attacked or anything like that. We're giving all our national treasure away to countries that don't really give a shit about us at all.
Well,
As
you
far as
think about it like this: we down in Texas, El Paso, you got First Armored Division, First ID, and also you got First Cab, Fourth ID at Fort Hood. Man, that's like 40,000 soldiers right there to put on the border. That easy. And right there in North Carolina, you got the 101st on one side in Tennessee, and you got the 82nd on the other side in North Carolina. Why aren't those soldiers there? I got buddies on the ground, in the 82nd, like they're begging to go. They're like, why aren't we freaking wheels up?
Because the president of the United States needs to do the he needs to declare martial law at the border, and that's when he can do national. That's when he can put the troops on the border. Until you declare a state of emergency with the what I just said. Sorry, without declaring a state of an emergency and a national security risk, and basically you can't put troops on the U.S. border. It can't be
Oh,
done.
okay.
You can't
I-
declare.
I'll give
You
you
need
I'll
to.
give you precedent, bro. I'll give you
Yeah, I'm just saying.
precedent. Is
The president needs to declare a national emergency and
Yeah.
basically a where you can declare the U.S. military at the border. Otherwise, it's illegal by the U.S. Constitution to put U.S. soldiers to station American soldiers in U.S. lands. You can't do it.
You put them in Mexico. What the
What
fuck is
about
Mexico
Kent
gonna
State?
say?
What about
Now,
Nothing. No, those are National
what
Guard.
about Kent
Kent
State in
State.
Ohio?
That was National Guard.
National
But
Guard.
here's the
National
thing though.
Guard can be
Hold it real
called
quick.
up by the governor. The governor can call other governors and say, "Look, I need help at the border. Can you send troops?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the governor
We got
can do
Texas
that.
we got Texas
Texas can do
National
that
Guard
right
there
now.
now. But here's the thing. I'll give you precedent. Little Rock, when they integrated the schools with that little strag, the president sent in the 101st. He didn't send in the guard.
Yeah.
He sent the 101st in. If
Yes,
if the
but
country can do it,
he had to declare
yeah.
a national emergency to do it.
If we can do it for a little
Congress and
strag,
him had to approve a
you know what I'm
national
saying?
emergency. You couldn't. Yeah, it's deploy troops, but until that happens,
Is it my signal or is Bandit going out? Is it me?
I think
I
she
think
went out.
both. I think both of you guys have been having a bit of a problem because I've heard borging from each of you.
Oh, my bad. I put a new mesh system in today and trying it out. But yeah, I mean, suspicious put it in the chat too about Trump. It's gonna stomp out anti-Semitism. He still got to answer to his overall bosses. He still has people to answer to.
Yeah, he ain't perfect. Not by a long shot. The reality of it is though, like the people don't really make moves like that because we're not really directly funding them. They have to cut deals with other people that are leaders in industry. I mean, Trump knows that he's cut deals with everybody. So he has to break bread with all these people. I mean, everybody has to do it. Just some people are more slimy about it. He's probably the first one that actually is like being honest about breaking deals. You know what I mean? With people, and he says it out in the open because he's not really trying to hide it. He's like, no, this is what we do. This is what goes on in the background. We got to cut deals for these weapon manufacturers. You know what I mean? We got to sell guns to all these different countries. He was saying it. He was saying it when he sold weapons to Saudi Arabia. Oh, we sold them a lot of weapons. We made a lot of money.
Man,
That's
just
what it
goes
is.
right back to World War II, man. The German tanks, Ford made the engines, bro. We
Yep.
fund both sides every
IBM
war.
IBM made their computers for the Holocaust.
The what?
So
The what? Oh, my
IBM made
bad.
the computers the
For the for the six
the
milli.
IBM made the computers. I don't know. I don't know about the numbers, but I know they were cataloging them with those machines.
For the 6 milli. Hey, I just tell
I don't
everybody
know how
this.
much it cost them.
I won't nuke Hood's channel. I just say this. Next time you're in Europe, just take a field trip there. And like my man Nick F, do his math. And while you take that field trip and just walk around at those places in Poland, in Eastern, Germany and other places. And just let common sense kick in for a second.
Everybody else get booted?
No, I think Hood said he had to step away, so we just talk amongst ourselves or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yo, it is amazing, man. All the stuff that transpired just in North Carolina alone. And then like I've been seeing videos like in the panhandle of Florida where people were like, able to do more stuff because they weren't like cut off from the rest of the world. And they were
Yeah,
talking
when
cash money about the federal government, man.
yeah, I was gonna mention this too, like about the people from Appalachia, like the Scots Irish. Like I don't know how many people realize how many U.S. presidents were Scott Irish, and how many of those people actually became generals. Like those are some hard headed motherfuckers and shit. So they're gonna pull through, but they're gonna have to do it on their own, pretty much.
Yep.
And they've been doing it, but they're being hampered right now.
Do you
Like a lot
guys
of
know what?
Scots Irish, like I had to learn pretty much about. Go ahead.
Do you guys know what state has elected the most amount of presidents?
I know it's in the Appalachians. I just don't know which one. I want to say Kentucky.
Nope, it's Ohio.
Mm.
And Ohio by a long shot. Ohio's got like 8 presidents came out of Ohio.
Shout out to this.
So I'm just saying, like, you guys are not wrong with like the Appalachia, middle of the country. That's where most of our politics come out of. So
Well, that's why they call it the heartland of America.
Yeah,
That's literally in the middle.
That's why there's a major problem with these coastal elites thinking we matter when technically you guys really don't matter because
no, they don't.
You look at history.
If you could cuck those people, we're fucked. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. If you could humble them, if you could cuck them in some way, yeah, we're kind of fucked because those are the right people that everybody actually like will be looking towards like for help and to be brave and stuff like that. Is those the Highlanders pretty much.
Pretty much like every country, like our big enemies, wink, wink, like China and Russia, have all said the reason why they can't invade the U.S. is because of Appalachia. Because if all the hard-headed, hardcore dudes fell back to Appalachia, it's a wrap for any country trying to invade.
Yep.
Well, it's that, and we also are the most defensible.
It'll be like Vietnam.
Nation. We're also the most defensible nation on the planet. We have two massive oceans beneath us. We have basically 2 borders that no one wants to mess with Mexico and Canada. We have the Appalachian Mountains on one side. We have the Rocky Mountains on the other. We got deserts to go through. We got thick forests to the other, and everybody freaking has a gun. I mean, they did a stat now. I think there's 5 or 6 to 1 guns per person. I think there's 5 or 6 guns per person in America. It's something stupid. So when they say there's a gun on every blade of grass, that is no joke.
But see, that's the mistake they realized with 9/11. Yeah, with 9/11, the lizards made a mistake. They realized, all of a sudden, that, oh my God, the browns, the blacks, and the whites, they all formed like Voltron. We didn't want that to happen. So that's why they had to get Obama in there, to cause this division. They're like, no, we can't have these people forming up. Because here's the thing. If somebody invades this country, Pook and Billy Bob will put aside their differences real quick and be like, okay, we'll deal with each other later. You ain't messing with my country.
Yep, you're basically.
That's why that
immigration.
Yeah, that's why that mass migration.
Immigration is going to be the.
And I've already. I've told people this before. If we ever do have a second civil war, it will be over states' rights and immigration. Because it'll be California letting in immigrants, right? you know, and they're being like, well, you don't have jurisdiction over letting whoever I let into my state, right? But then they're letting them out through their other borders inside the United States, and then people are gonna be like, well, I don't want to take them, but they'll be like, well, you don't have no right to deport anybody because that's a federal jurisdiction. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
So it'll
that's
be
the whole
something like
thing.
that. That's if it gets out of hand.
Immigration is going to bring everybody together. It's going to be Americans versus illegals. And the thing is, when that happens, the government's going to have to pick a side. If they pick illegals, it's gonna be civil war. And if they're smart, they're
But
I
going to
think
it's
the
a
take the
government
Trojan
already
horse.
illegals.
picked
That
the side, Bandit.
it,
Bandit,
it,
I
It's
it's
think they
it's
bull.
a
picked the
it's a
side
Trojan
already.
horse, and it's the perfect one too. Like they already spent trillions of dollars on them, right? Like I was telling somebody, they're like, why would they send them back if they paid so much money for these people? Why would they be clearing out jails if you know if when these people are committing crimes? Is because they're making room for you. Whenever you get uppity and out of line, it's
Yeah,
by design. Like they didn't spend all this money
That
for
that
no
that
for no
literally
returns.
that literally happened in England, right? That whole they're clearing out the jails for
Yeah,
you. So in England recently, because of a stabbing that happened on some young girls actually, but behind after that stabbing, they had a series of riots. Not really riots, but they had some protests that kind of got a little uppity for England. And after that all happened and they squashed all that, they said, we're going to empty out some of the jails because we have to arrest these racist right wing England protesters. All the England nationalists, they emptied the jails to put these people in jail. Like it literally happened already.
that's because they see the
hey Hood, this is crazy.
the nationalists are more of a threat than
This is crazy.
to their power than the homicidal killers that mark the streets. That's how they view it. And
Also, England doesn't have a Second Amendment, and America technically we do outgun our police department, but we kind of like our cops, so we don't murder them all. But let's just
they also don't
remember
have the
that we
First
don't murder
Amendment.
our
Hey Hood.
police because we kind of like them.
Well, the thing is,
Hey, look. By
if
comparison,
if
in Europe,
if they
right?
tried to,
It. Go ahead. Go ahead.
like, Harris wants to do a national buyback plan. That's part of her gun policy. And the cops are going, are you kidding me? Because if they have to go door to door and buy everybody guns away, there's not enough cops to cover. Because what's going to happen? They're going to the communities, and they're going to find out one community is going to be like the next William Tell and say they're after your guns, you're after their guns, and then there's not going to be enough cops to take
No,
away
what's
the
going to
people's
happen?
guns.
No. What would actually happen, in my opinion, is someone will die behind that buyback thing. Like they'll go to somebody's house and there'll be gunfire and they'll have to kill him after that. And then it will create, what do you call it? Balkanization. Like
Yeah,
towns will be like, you can't come here.
yeah, and it would be the
What kind
disbanding
of
of
American
cops.
are you?
The cops would be in
Right.
Australia,
What kind of American are you?
and
That's
the
why I
thing
said
is,
Hey,
I'm a blood and
one little
soil
thing though.
American.
and when that
Hey, one little
happens, you're
thing.
going to
Like
have the
when it
National
comes to
Guard.
Europe and immigration, when it comes to Europe and immigration, we give a lot of money and weapons to Poland, right?
Yeah,
Just in case. The big problem with immigration, they do not like immigrants. They don't fuck with immigrants. They're probably like one of the countries that does not like that whatsoever. They recently, after I think a border agent got killed by a rock being thrown at him, they got orders not to shoot to kill. So this is a little bit of hope that like now there's even people in Europe, right? And they're not going to say shit to Poland, right? So what the fuck are they going to say to Poland? What is England or what is France going to say to Poland when they're supposed to be the I guess the meat waves and shit that is going to be fighting Russia after if they really do decide to pull the trigger and have NATO go at Russia? They're not going to say shit to them. So there's going to
well,
be a changing of attitudes when it comes to immigration once they start seeing Poland shoot migrants because they're not
well,
going to. It's not like the Arabs are going to be like be quiet about it, and
well. The
all
thing is,
the Arabs inside of these other countries are going to riot.
That's
No
actually a
one's
great
Once that
point.
starts
Hold on,
happening.
hold on, Bandit. That's actually a
yeah.
great point. I don't know how that would play off, but I do think if Poland holds its ground, like what was somebody going to invade Poland because they don't take migrants? Like Poland shoots a couple of migrants, and let's imagine Poland shoots a couple of migrants, and then the migrants stop coming because like I don't want to get shot coming into Poland. I'm going to go to Turkey. I'm going to go to France now, right? And then now the only other solution is, well, if Poland's shooting them, I got to shoot them too. Like, what if it starts a cascade effect? We just get to shoot migrants now.
Man,
Well,
it's so fun that
I want to
And
Poland's
say
on.
that it's
also
already.
remember we used
I
to
want to
have
say that
Minutemen in the border in the South, like in the 70s or in the 80s. We used to have Minutemen like out there shooting migrants and shit.
Well, I want to
Not
say
too
it's
long
already
ago,
happening.
within our
What
lifetime, there was Minutemen.
Hood? What you were talking about is already happening in Sweden. Sweden's already rebelling against the migrants and kicking them out because they see what's happening to what.
Remigration is
Yeah.
they just voted for that in Sweden, right, Bandit?
Yep, that's what I was trying to get. Like Sweden's already kicking their migrants out. And the crazy thing is, I want everybody to think about this. The reason why Europe can afford all its socialized medicine is because we pay for their military. And we're all under LIBOR. Now, I will preach this to my grave. Reason why Europe hates Donald Trump so much is he wants to pass SOPAR, which is going to replace LIBOR, which is going to take all the power away from Europe to America. So if America sets interest rates from this point on, we don't need Europe. Right now, we're under the thumb of England right now because we can't set our own interest rates. Once SOPAR happens, Europe is going to go into a Great Depression, and it's going to be chaos in Europe. Europe's going to go from a first world country to a third world country within our lifetime because they're not going to have the financial backing, and then we're not going to back their military. They're going to have to spend all their subsidies are going to go away because we don't need them anymore. And guess what? Europe's going to fall into collapse because they went to the socialist nightmare. That's going to happen in our
That's
lifetime.
the threat.
Hey, they need to be humble for calling us. They need to be humble for calling us violent.
Yeah,
Well,
and then they
that's the
imported.
threat of America first, though, because like, and you know, this is a Nick Fuentes phrase, obviously, but the idea of actually being America first in terms of like protectionist policies when it comes to our international trade or a robust defense policies when it comes to our military attachments, if that were to actually be a thing, it would reset the entire world order. Because the problem is right now, our economic, our financial interests don't necessarily benefit the American public. Neither do our military interests, right? And so, if those two things were to sort of refocus on quote America first, it would totally reshape the entire global world order. And obviously, people don't want that.
And then on
Hey,
top of the whole mess, if you add
hey,
on the
they're
fact
looking at
that
our situation, and we're looking at their situation closely as well.
if you look at our situation right now, without American tourism, Europe falls into collapse because our spending of our dollars in Europe is what's literally keeping European economies alive. Like France would disappear without U.S. tourism. So honestly, they're on a threat. They're on a 10-year head start of America right now. Europe is 10 years of shitty policies ahead of America. Now, if
Speaking of France, Bandit,
yeah,
Macron was just seen speaking against America, like Europe needs to detach itself from American interest.
well, good luck with that because we, you know, France needs America more than America needs France. So,
Well, the world needs America more than America needs the world. Like technically, America could totally internalize all of its interest and survive and thrive, and the world would have to readjust. America could actually survive without the world because we have such a large landmass that we can just kind of figure out how to live without everybody else, and we can restrict all of our international trade agreements to something only benefiting America. You feel me? But we don't operate like that because our corporate interests are global at this point. They're not American. Like Henry Ford was an American interest kind of pioneer.
The only problem with that is
Those aren't our interests.
earth metal.
Those are the
That's the
elite
problem.
interests. Only the people that have that reach to talk to these people have that.
That's true too. That's true too. We're gonna wind this show down. Actually, it's 3 hours. We're well past the 3 hour mark. We're gonna wind this show down for the night. But I thank everybody for coming out here, man. This thing with North Carolina, it's not gonna go away. It's sort of a couple of months ago, a bridge collapsed. What was the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed because a boat ran into one of the pylons and it just took the whole bridge out.
It wasn't just that. It was a woman pilot that fell asleep and crashed into it.
Not a woman, bro. I thought it was a bunch of Indians. So it was an Indian woman, or was what kind of woman? What are you talking
I don't
about?
know. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely a woman piloting the boat. And then,
Hey,
a couple months
technically,
later, another boat
Bandit.
crashed into another bridge. It didn't destroy the bridge, and that was another woman piloting it. So I'm just
Hey,
saying,
but Bandit, like
Christ.
to be completely fair on that Francis Scott Key deal, when you get into the port workers themselves that are government mandated, they're the ones supposed to know the waterways, and they're the ones actually piloting in port.
Yeah, I understand that, and the pilot there was a woman, and she crashed into the pylon, and then a couple months later.
No matter what the port workers say, if you're on the boat piloting the boat and you crash, that's you, bro.
Yep, and it happened again a couple months later, but it was hushed underneath because they didn't want to admit that they did it twice within like 3 months. So the problem is DEI hires are going to get you more and more chaotic, more and more problems. Do you want to design a bridge that's DEI based and not based on if it can hold weight? Can it survive a storm? Or do you want a DEI doctor that can operate on you that doesn't even know how to operate because they hit the check boxes? We're in a dystopian world at this point.
Think about this. Technically, the whole world is DEI. You know what, guys? Don't leave. We're not over. We're not over yet. I got one last thing I want to show you guys. Speaking of DEI, right? Let me dig through my crates real quickly because there's something I want to show you guys because the world is technically we live in a DEI world. What do I mean by that? If you live in anywhere that's considered the Western world, any part of the world that's modern, that's led by competent white or Asians, because Asia is the modern world too. We can't shit on China and Japan and shit. And not even like Singapore too. Like Asia has just kind of caught up to modernity, right? But that being said, we do live in a DEI world. And why do I say that? Because there are parts of the world where if you visit, you don't want to get sick. Let's think of it that way, right? If you get sick in most Western or Asian countries, and when I say Asian, I'm speaking of a handful of Asian countries like China, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, maybe Thailand if you got enough money. But again, most of the world is not the modern Western Asian world, right? And so if you, let's say, get sick in one of these foreign countries, you might not make it. And I don't know if we really, as Americans, as lazy Westerners, we don't really appreciate how good we truly have it here, right? Because a lot of the world is they effectively exist on what you might call witchcraft. And I'm not even talking about I'm not even talking about the people in their villages and shit like that. I mean, they're actual trained physicians are basically witch doctors too. They have on scrubs. They wear Crocs and shit like that, but they're fucking witch doctors, all right? And you don't even understand how much danger you might be in if you get sick outside of the Western world, is all I'm saying. And I want to share something with you guys now. Now that I built that horror story up for you guys, let's share a nightmare tale with you. Hit the like button, guys. We're winding this show down. We're going to wrap this show up momentarily. Like the video. Don't leave just yet, because this is a fucked up story about drinking Indian street milk. First of all, before I even press the button, Indian street milk. Any thoughts on that, guys? Indian street milk. What do you? What comes to mind when I say Indian street milk?
Is milk in quotes?
It's not milk.
Is milk in
Their
quotes?
hands and elbows were all over it. Their hands and elbows were all over it.
I mean, we know how much they worship cows over there. I can only imagine what they mean by milk.
Wait. So they listen to black people when they say they put their foot in it. When black people say they put their foot in it, they really listen to them. Figure literally.
They went beyond. They went beyond. I don't even think you can say they was listening to black people. They just did their own thing. They was like, oh nah, they said niggas hold my beer. That's what they did. They went totally beyond. Watch this video, y'all. This shit terrible.
I did the worst thing you could do in India, and I ended up in hospital. Have you seen them videos where Indians stir food with their fingers? They're all over the internet. The food that you should never, ever touch.
Look at the elbows.
I tried myself some of that finger milk. This guy's been on the street for over 17 years.
This motherfucker tried finger milk from the Indian street vendor.
He drank that man's poopy.
He did though. He did. Wait, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna hear it later.
This guy's been
on the street. He drank the man's poopy. You are not wrong, bro. That's just terrible. You are so terribly accurate when you said that.
All you gotta do is go in the Ganges and you're in poopy water. So come on,
bro. If we, those of us born in America, if we were to like swim in the Ganges, we would probably die in 48 hours in an agonizing, terrible death. Like something from inside of us would eat us to death.
Yeah, the Ganges.
They're literally built different because of that.
Drink that water, and it's god.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. Jeets are actually built different. Like they got like they literally have to have a completely different gut biome. You know, like you have like bacteria in your intestines and your stomach to help you digest things or whatever. They have like some prehistoric shit that's meant to digest like rotting mammoth meat or something. Like they have a different internal biome. The Indians are literally built different. I do not have Jeet biome.
Yeah, I mean,
and
think
I
about when you go to Mexico. You guys all know the joke with Mexico. You go, you
Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Different biome, different. Give you the shits.
I've survived 2 bouts of that.
Montezuma's Revenge ain't got shit on Krishna's diarrhea, bro. Krishna's diarrhea is hell, bro.
Wow,
wouldn't it be Kali's diarrhea?
Kali, Krishna, they're all fire-breathing, hell-making gods. They're all pagan gods, bro. These are all devil gods. It doesn't matter what you call them. They're all the same bad guy. And they make you shit till you die. All of them.
17 years making this, and I literally mean on the street. He's on his hands and knees. Look at his feet. Look at them nails. What was going through my mind when I drank this? The guy making the drink was a holy man, so I had a bit of trust in him, but I probably should.
And he is definitely what we would call a gone. He is, foreign. He's an international, but the fact that you would drink this, looking at his fingers, knowing that,
oh no,
bro, he's a gay ass white nigga, bro. Like, there's no way in hell I would have drunk some shit like that. But you drunk that because you were like, oh yeah, I'm in India. I'm gonna do the cool Indian people thing. You were not shielded by your authentic white racism, and you almost died because of it.
I'm wondering if his last video was.
Can we just call him Gabs, gay ass bitch?
I'm wondering if his last video was titled "Drinking Indian Street Milk. What could go wrong?"
I mean, basically. Hold on, I want to bend it. Hold on, what was that? Gay ass what?
Gay ass bitch. Call him Gabs.
Gab. No, I like the universality of Gons because I like to call him. He's a gay ass white nigga. He's still a foreigner. He's like a European Gon. He's a Euro Gon.
Hey, was he being a passport bro in India?
I mean, no. I mean, he maybe because you know you can probably get an Indian bitch for like $2.
True.
He wasn't passporting on this day. He should have been getting Indian pussy. Indian pussy don't kill you like Indian milk kills you.
Dude, that's probably as bad as the milk.
He says that's the milk. What if the pussy kill you like the milk? All right, listen. We can't say too many mean things about India because the G digital mafia is real.
I making a drink was a holy man, so I had a bit of
They still got
They're like China.
After drinking the drink, I was pleasantly surprised by the taste, and I continued on with my day like nothing ever happened. I went and kicked it with some bubbers, did some holy rituals, you know, the average day in India, but it all changed that night.
Damn, that nigga drunk Indian finger milk, then he smoked some weed with some Indian holy niggas, bro. White people, y'all falling off, man.
Well, you know the guy
y'all white people are falling off, bro. I gotta tell you, man, this is how you fuck up a white culture, bro. You went out there, first you drunk Indian finger milk, and now y'all out here smoking weird substances with strange Indian holy people. You know, because of the Beatles, everybody thinks Indian holy culture is like this weird, it's like this fantastical weird shit, right? But ever since the day of G, we all know Indian mysticism is just various layers of shit and fecal matter worship.
Well, honestly, the guy looks like a white version of Carrot Top with that freaking mop of a head. Like, dude's beta as beta can be. I mean, look at him. I mean, freaking my legs are bigger than his arms, by leaps and bounds. Like this guy, and I'm a small dude. Like, this is pathetic. I mean, look at him. He's wearing, what is that, smiley face necklace? I mean, come on, man. Guy's a tryhard.
I can only eat Indian food cooked to American standards.
So you can eat American food. Gotcha.
Right, like no, like I can eat a gyro if it's served like in
YouTube-
Manhattan in an actual restaurant, but I can't. I'm not gonna go to India to eat a gyro. I would never. I would die. I would kill you if you tried to put me on that plane.
There's a reason why we have the FDA.
YouTube ruined Indian food for me, bro. I got my shit all halal now.
Yeah, I don't even eat food truck food. Let me not say that. I don't eat food carts. Like if you go to New York City, because I'm talking about a particular thing. If you go to New York City, right, in the busy areas, you'll see like a guy with a little cart and he's got like halal food and it's like Indian, and we might have some rice too, but it'll be like the Indian chicken and he'll serve gyros and shit. I don't buy none of that shit because them niggas nasty. I might eat some food truck food occasionally because it'd be all kind of different food trucks that pop up and that's different, but those little food carts, the halal food carts, bro, in New York City, I do not eat that shit. I don't know. I've never had like a bad experience. I'm not even gonna say something like I got sick like this guy. It's just something about it just bothers me, and I've never wanted to eat that shit.
I will say this though: if you get to go to Philly, the food trucks in Philly is legit. Like they'll have like crab and lobster food trucks, like, and it's legit.
Well, that's what I mean. A food truck is not exactly the same thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you go to New York City, they're all over the place, and it's like the exact same shit. So you kind of understand it if you're a New Yorker. Those little fucking halal carts. And look, like I said, I've never actually had a bad experience. It's just I watch them and I see them, and they're like, you guys are so fucking nasty. I'm not eating that shit, bro.
Yeah, unless you want to cleanse.
Hey, here in Chicago, man, geez, they got all the Dunkin' Donuts, the Subways. There's probably one legit spot that you can get some halal, but other than that, I don't trust none of the motherfuckers. No Subway,
Yeah.
no Donuts.
Anunnaki, I've had an actual Greek gyro from an actual Greek restaurant with an old Greek lady behind the counter and shit, and it was good. It was lamb. It was good. It was a good gyro, right? And so it's that particular thing is something about it just irks the fuck out of me. I do not like those little halal food trucks in New York, bro. Something about
Yeah,
it's a pet
Greek.
peeve, I guess. It's a me thing.
Yeah, Greek guys better than the other guys, gyros. I can agree with that. And if you ever come to Chicago, hood, and you do your trucking trip, man, you gotta go to Greek Town. You gotta try Mr. Greek Town gyro. Best gyro in the whole time United States, I guarantee you.
I could believe that.
Now,
I
if he
could
goes to
believe that
Chicago to
because
try
Greek food
Italian beef,
is like what's that? Hold on, what was the other
Italian
thing you
beef.
said?
So you need to try an Italian beef.
All right, y'all giving me some hot
But you
spots to
gonna
visit.
get Portillo, that's where you gotta go for the Italian beef, you know what I'm saying? But if you want a real true authentic gyro, I'm talking about with the extra meat, the layers of fries and everything with all the fixings, you gotta go to Mr. Greek in Greek Town. You know what I'm saying? It's open 24 hours and they got everything that you're looking for, man. Look, you come to Chicago, you're gonna leave here with 10 extra pounds on.
I believe that. I believe that. But let's get back to the story. Let's get back to the story because this shit's crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
This nigga in India, he should have went to
Hey,
Greece.
hey, look, before you press play, now what kind of white douchebag is this? Now I know that we had the hippies in the 60s. We had
I listen to
the
chat.
emos in the
Some
90s.
people in the chat saying he not white. We might have to call him some kind of gypsy or something. People in the chat are disavowing his whiteness, so he might just be some kind of European
Oh,
gypsy nigga.
Well, let me
But
see
it
who
is
this
oh,
guy
like
is.
crazy,
Thomas
mate.
Shelby.
Yeah, he does have gypsy features. Now that I look at him,
Yeah,
Like Thomas
he's
hold on.
Shelby
What
off
was
the
that
Peaky
snowman? I
Blinders.
heard snowman in there. What was that?
yeah, he not white.
Yeah. I do see a little gypsy
Yeah, one
features
of
right
y'all, you ain't
now.
claiming him.
As
You
a
ain't claiming him, Snowman.
representative of
Ain't
the
one of
white
y'all.
No,
coalition, he's not white.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. He's a gone gypsy.
Damn, you said gone gypsy, man. Corny.
he looks like he's got
I
pole
woke
lock.
up at 7 p.m. violently vomiting. I couldn't control anything inside me. It was just coming out. 7 a.m. in the morning, I finally stopped. I felt relieved, but had a crazy fever. Later that evening, the fever had got way too much for me and I had to call in a doctor. You know, I normally gauge a doctor based off how they look, and this doctor had a very nice briefcase, so I trusted everything he said, and I took the medicine he gave me. In fact, what he'd done is he prescribed medicine that kick-started the bacteria into overdrive inside my stomach. And the next thing I know, instead of coming out of my mouth, it was coming out of the other end.
This is what I'm saying, bro. They doctors, but they basically witchcraft niggas. They just got on like white jackets and shit, but they basically do voodoo on you.
The medicine he gave
Shaman.
me. In fact, what he'd done is he
Christian
prescribed
shaman.
medicine that kick-started the bacteria into overdrive inside my stomach. And the next thing I know, instead of coming out of my mouth, it was coming out of the other end. After
Hey, at
this
least
going
they're
on for
cutting out the
2-3
back end
hours, I
and
knew it was
front
time
end.
to go to the hospital.
I don't
You
know
know,
if that was better though.
dude, I would much rather have diarrhea than be puking all over the place.
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's just listen, because it's not like it got better because he started having diarrhea. You feel me? It progressed worse after that. But let's listen.
Hospital. My good
It
friend
got
Deepak
worse.
and Andy loaded me into Uber and wheelchaired me into the hospital. The first thing they did when I got to the hospital was take my temperature. I was 102.5. In India, everyone just wants to look and stare at you
Sounds like
because
he's
they've
got
not
food
seen
poisoning.
a foreigner before. So I've got people coming into my hotel room asking for selfies, just coming in pretending to do random jobs. Just
He's having like deadly diarrhea right now. Like, you ever had life-threatening diarrhea before? And he's going through that, and he got Jeets coming in here. Could I have a selfie, son?
Yeah, dude, I had that problem with diarrhea back in 2020, and you couldn't find no toilet paper anywhere.
You guys ever
That's
watch that
classic.
Dave Chappelle skit where he like launches himself from the toilet?
Yeah, he's about to go through shit
Yeah.
like that.
to
Yeah,
look
I
Or
at
he's
have
gonna
me
get a
experience like
colon,
that
lying
the
in
in
best
my
colon clean ever.
2007.
bed. All while this is going on, the number 2 movements have turned from brown to bright green, showing the infection
Damn,
is
he's
building and getting
radioactive now.
stronger. The doctor
So Snowman, you still happy with the shit transformation?
I
Like, he
don't
was
know.
just vomiting before.
It depends on what superpowers he gets from this radioactive shit he's got right now.
I didn't even know you could do shit in that color, bro. Like, hold on. Hold on. I didn't know that spectrum was something you could reproduce, bro.
Dude, he looked
Oh yeah,
shit out
yeah.
of the to change the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, I was thinking.
I've done shit like I've had green shit before, but it was dark green. It was like earthy green. This is like that mutagenic ooze green. This is like that
Yeah.
mutant ninja turtle green.
He's basically
This
shitting
that
Ecto
do it there
Cooler.
green from the slime. This that slime green from Nickelodeon.
Right, it's the Nickelodeon slime green. What the fuck, bro?
This is a fucking Chernobyl fucking
Yeah.
experiment fucking green right here,
Does
man.
it-
That's what this is.
Does anybody remember
Hey, that's
Ecto
a-
Cooler?
Hold on, remember what?
Ecto Cooler.
I remember ectoplasm from
yeah, Slimer, Ghostbusters,
Yeah, like the Ecto Cooler iced tea. That's like the color. It's. Oh,
yeah, that's
Hey,
almost
bro,
like that what is it, that mountain, that green Mountain Dew that they Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
shit green Mountain Dew. It was thick too. It
Secret
wasn't
of the
even
Ooze.
just runny like Mountain Dew. It was thick dew.
It was the secret of the Dew.
Whoa.
Yeah, the secret of the ooze, Mountain Dew. It was Mountain Dew, the secret of the ooze.
Showing the infection is building and getting stronger. The doctors act quick and put me on IVs and antibiotics. But guess what? The bacteria starts breeding again. And now we've moved from brown to green to blood. The only thing I'm passing now is blood. So
he got his first period.
Snowman.
He got his first
listen, Snowman, you were the one that was like, no, it's good he started shitting. I'm like, are you sure?
Well,
are you sure?
Maybe he should have got his diarrhea under control, Hood. I'm just saying.
He was already progressing on a downward spiral, and you were celebrating it. You were like, "Yeah, these are positive signs." I'm like, "Nah, bro, chill. Just wait."
Well, now hold on, because it's safe to assume that at this progress, if he's bleeding out of his ass, had it been the other way around, it was coming out the front end from with the same shit. By now, he'd be bleeding out his mouth. So I'd still rather be bleeding out my ass.
I'm gonna say something, and then maybe it will like, you can adjust your calculations after I say these words. Indian finger milk.
Oh, you're fucking nasty.
I mean, readjust your calculations.
I fucking hate you. You know I'm sitting here trying to eat a bowl of cream of wheat, dude.
You know what this is?
I don't know anything like that.
This
dude, you said Indian finger milk, and I looked down at my cream of wheat and put it down.
Hey, Hood, know what you should do? You should make the Darwin Awards.
Oh my god! Well, he didn't die though. He almost died. This motherfucker lived. He like a champion.
Yeah, like Red said, it's cream and I'm quite scared.
Cream of Jeet now.
Each day I was
cream of Jeet. Okay.
Trying to get feedback on what was wrong with me, but the doctors would give me little information. After multiple stool samples, blood samples, ultrasounds, I wasn't finding out what was wrong with me. I'm not a but I grew up not liking blood. And in the middle of one of my fever dreams, I wake up and decide I need to get hydrated.
Do you have any tales or stories of really good fever dreams?
I don't know if I've ever had a fever dream. I don't think I've ever been that ill. Because the worst I've ever got as a kid, I had pneumonia and I was hospitalized, but I was very young. But like as an adult, I've never had any illness that bad.
Fever dreams is like signs of severe dehydration. Like you need to go to the hospital and drink water. And now they're going to give him Indian water. Good luck, buddy. You're not
right, bro.
Cream of Jeet.
I need you to bless this water. You gotta fly in a pope. You gotta fly at least a priest. I want a cardinal from the Vatican flown in directly to bless the water and then boil it.
Bro, he'd be better off drinking toilet water at this point.
Now his best bet is just saying, get as much saline and then pump it through my veins.
Bro,
hey, what's your priest though? Hood, you know, there's two types of priests: the ones that touch the boys, and one that touch the nuns. I think the ones that touch the nuns get you.
It don't matter. It don't matter. As long as he can bless the water, bro. I'm not even judging right now. I'm not even judging. Can you see this nigga about to die? This nigga is on the Indian. He about to die in the Indian hospital. I am not judging right now, bro. That's the wrong question.
And by the way, have you ever seen a
I'm
hospital
judging.
that dim before? You go to an American hospital, it's like lit up like a Christmas tree.
It
Look how dim.
is, bro. You gotta like pay extra for them to turn the lights off in your
I know.
room.
And this guy has like one light. He has like a night light in the corner.
What did this guy eat? Did
He
he
got
eat that
hallway
Indian ankle
light.
soup?
Cream of G. He ate cream of G.
He doesn't
This is
even
death
have
by
his
cream of
whole
G.
room lights, bro. He only has hallway light right now. Look at
God
this,
damn,
bro.
he's in prison. They got him in the infirmary of the fucking jail.
This probably one of the good India hospitals too, bro.
When I moved the
Hey, who
covers
said the
off of
cream of
me,
G?
one of the nurses has forgotten to close the valve on the
I read in the
needle in
comment
my
section.
arm.
I said it
Listen,
ain't
And
cream
I'm
of
just
G.
squirting blood everywhere. It's on the sheets. It's gotten to close the valve on the
Damn,
needle
he
in my
popped his
arm.
cherry.
And I'm just squirting blood everywhere. It's on the sheets. It's all over me. So I start freaking out. After this, I felt really unsafe in the
Blood? He
hospital.
shitting out
Hospital can't
blood?
do one
Yeah, he
thing, like
sounds like he got
make
his
sure I'm
cherry
not
popped.
bleeding out. How are they going to get me better? I'm now back in Bangkok and I've got a series of tests to find out what's actually wrong with me, and I'll keep you guys updated.
You had your fucking O-ring
Bro.
blown out. That's what's wrong, dude.
Damn, cream of G popped his cherry.
Indian finger street milk, and here's an update of what happened. So it's been about a week and a half now since I first got sick, and my overall health is progressively getting better. I do have some serious stomach issues, and we'll get into that in a bit. Since I've uploaded the videos, it's gone viral over the whole of the internet, and especially in India. And I've had very mixed responses to the experience that I went through. The problem now is there's a lot of bad talk about India in general on Twitter and social media, a lot of memes and a lot of jokes. So I feel like India is a little bit more defensive than what they would normally be. And I want to start by addressing my views on India. India is one of my favorite countries I've ever visited. The culture is so different, colorful, interesting. Their religion is so interesting to me. And also I love the food. I'm British. It's like our number one takeaway food. Indian food is top tier for me. The problem here comes from me. I made a bad decision. When I go to India, I always have two rules. Number one is don't eat any.
Pause. You're talking the country that conquered the planet and took over 25% of the planet, but yet has no idea how to use spices. Saying that Indian food is the top tier food when you have freaking Italy, you have Italian food, you have.
Hey, they love curry, man.
I know. And I'm sorry, you guys like Sum 41 is your man. No wonder the guy's a fucking cuck. Good grief. I mean, come on, man.
He gives that mohawk. He gives people that wear that mohawk a bad name. He gives Punk a bad name.
Yeah, he literally is like a carbon copy of someone from like 2003.
He's like the hipster version of a Punk kid.
Yeah, it's sad.
To me, and also I love the food. I'm British. It's like our number one takeaway food. Indian food is top tier for me. The problem here comes from me. I made a bad decision. When I go to India, I always have two rules. Number one is don't eat anything raw or uncooked. That includes juices, that includes street milk, that includes fruit, veg, salads. My number two rule is don't eat meat in India. I broke one of them rules and I ended up in hospital. So it's my own silly fault. The care I got in the hospital was genuinely very good, but I think that some of the nurses were.
How do you visit a country where a just general rule is don't eat raw food like fruit? I can understand raw food, but when he said fruit, how do you not eat the fruit of a country? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, when you say raw food, I'm thinking like, don't eat the oysters, don't eat raw chicken in India. Like, all right, but maybe they eat raw cow meat in India. Like, there's a dish. It was a steak tartare. There's a certain dish with like, there's people eat raw meat, and I, it is what it is. But he's saying don't do these things in India, and I'm thinking it's about meat. And then he says fruit, bro. He says you can't even eat the fruit in India.
Fruit
Like
carts and bot flies. Bot flies and fruit carts.
So somewhere between the fruit growing on a tree and the Indian guy serving me a piece of fruit, it becomes inedible.
Dude, that's like 90% of the food in America, though. So is it really any different?
Nope. I mean, shit, we
I
got
am
more
having a
chemicals
bit of
in
a
our
hard
food.
time with this. I am struggling just a bit with this. Yes, I do believe I'm having a difficulty here because, all right, so if you're in India and the fruit is growing on a tree, whatever Indian fruit it is, I don't know what you call it, jeet fruit, right? And so you're in India and there's jeet fruit on a tree, and then the jeet fruit, so some guy picks it. Let's say it doesn't even fall on the floor, right? God forbid. He picks it himself.
His
And
hands
then
are
after
more
he picks
unsanitary than
it,
the floor are.
and then after he picks it, it's automatically inedible. Like as soon as he picks the jeet fruit, you can't eat it. Like at what point does it become inedible? Like it's fucking fruit. He said you
As soon as
can't eat the fruit.
Hey,
as
when
soon as
you enter the country,
it
when you
comes
enter
off,
the country,
no, it's as soon as it gets picked up off the ground. Dude. As soon as that motherfucker's hands touch that shit, he contaminates it.
As soon as it leaves the
Yep.
tree,
Man. No,
like
as
you
soon as
can
you put
only
gloves
eat it
on, it's
raw off
contaminated.
the tree. You gotta
Hold
pick
up.
your
So I
own
want to
jeet
know:
fruit.
are they immune to our GMO foods?
I think they're immune to
Are they
everything,
immune to
bro.
our
These
GMO
motherfuckers.
foods? Like they don't
I
be
well,
think
they
you
getting
could
bothered by
probably,
our
well
overprocessed?
they could probably get
they
your
probably don't
back
have that.
leg, bro.
Hey,
Hey,
They're
they
immune to
probably don't have any
everything.
of that. They probably don't have any of that over there. All the
I'm,
GMO stuff.
I'm with
They have a prehistoric gut biome. That shit can process dinosaur bone.
they
Like
got
it
two
can eat
stomachs.
anything, bro. It's like hyenas. Hyenas can eat everything, and they just shit white turds, bro. It's like that. Snakes do the same shit too.
So do
They
birds.
just swallow something whole, and then they just shit a white turd out, like boop, and it's over. Like I bet you that's how it is. But
So
they're
they
just
could
shitting
eat.
turds.
So they could eat a whole brick of government cheese, no problem.
I
How
bet.
how evil does a creature have to be for when it's shit when it finally shits to have all the color and life sucked out of even the shit?
Bro, nutrients and motherfucking nutrients. That's what's happening there. They need nutrients in the subcontinent. This shit's crazy, bro. All right, let's finish. Let's finish, bro. This shit is
Yeah,
outrageous.
listen,
Were slightly
listen.
undertrained, and that's how I ended up having the big breakdown situation within the hospital itself. I did get all the tests I needed. I did get the proper treatment that I needed to find out what this really was. But beside all the medical facts and me stating multiple times online, half of India thinks that I was in the hospital because of the substance that was inside the lassi. A bang lassi is a drink that's drunk during holy festivals mainly, and it's used to get you closer to God. Inside the drink is some THC. The effects of this lasted like an hour for me and was nothing.
Imagine going to India to get closer to God. Like, is the point to die? Do you go to India to die a little bit? That's how you get closer to God?
Isn't that where the
I
Himalayas
mean,
are?
yep.
I could
Hey,
see
well,
that.
Well, he wasn't in the mountain. He was down on the plains. You know, he was at sea
I'm,
level basically. He
I'm just
wasn't in the
saying,
mountains.
if you're going to go, so you're going to go somewhere to get closer to God, I'd go where the highest mountain range is, though.
hey, but check this
No.
out. Though. Hey, you
Don't
know,
drink
like
the single milk up there neither, bro.
hey, Hood, you seen like the white people that believe for some reason these people are like more spiritual than anybody else on the planet, to where they import an Indian dude to
Those
like
aren't white people. Those aren't white people. Those
they
are not
import
white people.
hey they import a bunch of Indian people to come and kill them over here too in the sweat
I'm getting
lodge.
tired of you fucking labeling them all white people. We all don't look the same, motherfucker.
They
Yo,
y'all don't have to look the
white,
same.
white people have their
The
own
blue vein,
delineation
fish.
movement too, bro. They just like FBA. White people are like FBAs too. They're like, listen, those white people they not like us, bro.
They ain't. That's right. They ain't like us. They ain't white people.
But get this, man. Like I look, I feel you, man. You're fighting Irish,
Shout out to
right?
the white ethos
He,
out there,
he,
bro.
he's fighting Irish, man. Maybe these are like the French whites, man.
Now he's more like a Polak white man, worthless.
Nah,
Hey, is
Pollock's
the
not.
blue
I
vein
tell you,
fish?
he's like
No,
a
man.
gypsy, bro. He's a gypsy.
Hey,
He's a
hey,
European gypsy.
snowman.
You don't even know what his
Hey,
real ethnicity is.
hey, snowman. Is the blue vein fish? He belongs to y'all.
I could tell you what his ethnicity ain't, and it ain't white.
He got a little bit of all the Europeans mixed in there.
How dare you?
Hey,
That's
Hood.
blasphemy. That is blasphemy.
Hey, Hood. Hey, y'all. Do y'all think that they put THC? I mean, now we all know that you get closer to God, you gotta have weed in your system, and you gotta be on the highest mountain. They just gave us a cheat code.
That's the one thing they did right, bro. Don't get excited.
Nothing to do with what hit me 24 hours after drinking it. The fact that people think I was in hospital crying and breaking down because I was tripping is insane. The actual reason why I ended up in hospital was because of E. coli. E. coli is a bacteria that's found in poop. So when I talked about the fingers of the holy man who was making the drink,
you see those fingers?
Yeah,
that's poop.
All over them.
Hey, look at all that. Look at all that brown, man.
Look at that brown, bro. Why your fingers that brown? Cause that's poop, my nigga.
That's not.
So when I talked about the fingers of the holy man who was...
Look at those holy fingers, bro. Who
That's
knew?
not chocolate.
Now earlier when I started this clip, didn't I tell somebody mentioned poop, and I was like, just wait for it. There it is, bro.
Every time you bring up one of these jeets, it's got to have something to do with someone's shitty fingers, or drinking piss, or washing their hair with piss, or fucking washing their dishes with piss, or fucking bathing in shit.
Look, Snowman.
Ask one of the jeets about
hey, Snowman. When in Rome, man. When in Rome.
Right. I am not an expert on jeetness. I'm merely an observer and a reporter. I report jeetness to everybody because it's fun.
Man, they're fucking nasty.
Bro, I've seen them get pissed on by cows. I've seen them smear shit on their pots, cow shit on their pots to bless it before they start cooking for the whole tribe.
I feel like
shit
they
is
just
wild,
ruined
bro.
it otherwise.
Ruined Indian food. I loved Indian food until I seen that shit.
Not even food. We had a perfectly great stream up until I started doing this. The last like 20 minutes, I might have to cut from the stream because it was a great show about North Carolina. No, it wasn't anybody's fault but mine. I'm not gonna let the chat or the panel take blame. That was me. It was all me because I said I want you to watch this. But now that we're here, I'm just saying I feel like I totally fucked up a good stream.
You did. I can't even finish eating my dinner.
We're in.
You asshole.
Listen. Just wait until I'm done to finish your cold cream of wheat with the Indian finger milk.
Oh, you're nasty.
Was making the drink for me, having dirt and potentially poop on them. That was correct. I drank holy man poop and it put me in hospital.
He drank holy man poop and it put him in the hospital.
Must not have been that holy.
I mean, you would think it wouldn't put you in the hospital, right? Or maybe that's how you get close to the guy. Like I said, you go to India, you die a little bit, and then you see God or Krishna or whatever the fuck.
You got to go over there and tongue punch a holy man's fart box.
I mean, they got like 11, 12 gods over there. So, like, is it even that special if it's a bunch of them? If it was just the one
you
god,
have to go over there and get gang raped by the Indian gods.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because if it was just the one god, it's like, all right, well, he had to make time for me. This nigga made an appointment in his infinite schedule for me. That's kind of cool. But if it's like 12, 15 of you niggas, then like, I feel like, the short one got the stick, and that was me.
Dude, and it's bad because almost every one of their gods got like fucking 8 arms.
And then they want to touch you with each one of them.
Right. Think about that. And all of them got that dirty holy man Pajit shit on their fingers.
Right. Would you like some finger milk style?
That's why I'm like on the subway in Chicago. No,
here, suck on my fingers, Sonny.
All right. We're done. We're fucking done. This show got to end at some point. We've done too much.
And have me pooping blood for 2 days.
A taste of India.
So when I talked about the fingers of the holy man who was making the drink for me, having dirt and potentially poop on them, that was correct. I drank holy man poop and it put me in hospital and had me pooping blood for 2 days.
Yeah, we are definitely.
That holy man drinks.
I took this show down a dark alley. Well, he got that prehistoric Indian biome. No, his gut can take. I told you they can digest rhinoceros bones. I'm telling you, Indians can eat anything.
They're like cows, dude. They got like 3 stomachs.
I think it's just one stomach, but it's like really ancient. They got an old gut. Like I'm telling you, it's some shit. Like it was like the original stomach that man had before fire.
How fucked up do their stomachs really got to be, though? I mean,
hey, remember though, look, when when the conquistadors and the pilgrims came over, they killed them with all that bacteria that they had. So I'm just like, it's kind of the same thing. Kind of the same
I'm
thing.
trying to tell you.
They couldn't even withstand the microbes.
It's got to do with this poor sucker drinking finger milk
The
and getting
Indians,
sick.
look, think about it. Think about it. When the Europeans came to America,
Came in with rats in the boats.
The natives couldn't stand that European, like the internal organisms that are just native to Europeans or whatever. The Indians couldn't stand it, right? They were like, holy shit, this shit killing us, right? The natives, they were like, give me
They
more
couldn't even hold their liquor.
The Indians, when they met the Europeans, they didn't die. You have to actually kill them with swords. They were like, give me more. Your virus is good side.
I would like to point out that I think this is bullshit.
To this day, they can't hold their liquor.
This fine white guy goes over and gets fucking assaulted by a Pajit and somehow fucking being colonized, and the cracker brought it on himself. How is that?
What if we're worried about like the Mexicans in America and all that?
The whitey
justice.
That's what the whitey over our land with fucking smallpox blankets.
Think about this. We're worried about the Mexicans taking over America and maybe the Venezuelans. But what if some combination of India and Chinese people actually take over America? Because Chinese, they got the brains and the money making, and the Indians just don't die. And so between those two things, like, what if they just take over America?
What have you ever contemplated the idea that maybe the Indians are like the trailer trash? Or the hood Negroes.
They are
the Asian race.
That's why they're here. That is literally why they're here. They're like the indestructible nuclear cockroach trailer trash of humanity. Like, you can drop several Hiroshimas on them, and they will just wake up one day. Hello, can I help you, sir?
You're saying that the only thing that's going to be left after nuclear holocaust is them, Keith Richards, and cockroaches,
and a couple of Chinese motherfuckers. Yeah,
Snowman. Hey, Snowman, you could throw them in Kensington Avenue and they will thrive.
Holy shit.
They will thrive in Kensington
Avenue.
They'll set up shops and everything. They'll start selling street food and everything, bro. I'm telling you.
They'll have people fucking, man. Could you imagine Indian finger milk on Kensington?
Think about that one.
Bro.
I don't know if it
would kill them or if it'll help them.
Imagine a bunch of motherfuckers knotted out from fentanyl and fucking heroin, all bleeding out their ass at the same time.
Damn,
I mean, they're kind of doing that halfway already, because heroin and fentanyl, it's already coming out of both ends anyway. I mean, you may or may not be bleeding, but it's coming out of both ends. I don't know how much you know about the dope fiends, but they're
gonna be doing the Philly shuffle. They're gonna be doing the Philly shuffle. They're gonna be doing the Philly shuffle while shitting themselves.
Bruh. Anyway, we've totally ruined this stream. I don't know if I want to ruin it any more than we've already done.
You did, not us.
And it was pristine. It was perfect. It was like a perfectly cut gem before I invited you goons onto the panel. You guys dragged me to hell with you. I was a good boy, and then I invited my friends into my house. My mom told me I shouldn't have company when she's not home. That's what I get.
But that's the best time to have fun.
Your racism is getting a lot better, though, Hood.
Oh, thank you.
I'm impressed with your racism skills now. They're getting a lot better.
I'm universal, man. I throw shots at everybody. White people get it too. Everybody, bro. That's how you got to be. It's only fair.
That's why I respect it. You got to respect the game.
That's how I feel. We got game respects game. You dig?
Yep.
Anyway, guys, we got to wrap this up, man. Thank y'all for coming out tonight, man. Appreciate all you guys. You guys are crazy. You guys actually listen to this shit. I can't believe you people. You guys are amazing. we got to get up out of here.
Dysfunctional degenerates, though. I mean, we dysfunctional degenerates like you would a conservative edge.
What did Hillary call us? A basket of
deplorables.
I feel like it's like a whole shopping cart now. No one can carry a basket.
Hey, Hood, it was a basket of deplorables. And she doubled down on it like last week.
We're a whole shopping cart now, man. You can't carry a basket with this much shit in it, bro. We are a whole shopping cart of deplorables now.
Not just any shopping cart. We're a Sam's Club shopping cart, man.
Man,
Oh,
fuck
one
you,
of those
I'm Costco.
industrial, one of them big motherfuckers. You can carry a fat bitch in one of these shopping carts. All right, we up out of here, y'all. We got to go, man. Y'all have a good night. Thank y'all so much for being here. Appreciate y'all supporting the show, but I'm going to sleep and I'm probably going to eat again.
Stay away from that Indian
What was
finger
that?
milk. Stay away from that Indian finger milk, folks. We don't need to see you guys end up with fucking E. coli or some shit.
No Indian finger milk. All right, last words. No Indian finger milk.
Don't get things about Omar.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.